Hi folks, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video game review of Doom the Dark Ages. And I was really looking forward to this game because I reacted to the trailer too and it looked so amazing and everything. Like, it literally single-handedly looked like it might actually be the best Doom game in existence. And wouldn't you know it, in my opinion, it is. Granted, it might be actually a recency bias because I'm still just overblown with how much awesomeness and fun I had while playing this awesome shooter, but as of now, I very much feel this is very much the best Doom game, because with Doom Eternal, I was also admittedly saying that it's the best Doom game in existence, but I did replay Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal to prepare for this game, and while there's still plenty of things I think Doom Eternal did better than Doom 2016, ultimately, if we judge by pure gameplay and how much fun I had playing each game, then actually, I did actually kind of have more fun playing Doom 2016 than Doom Eternal. There were some frustrating things gameplay-wise in Doom Eternal, while Doom 2016 is just like an awesome shooter through and just like putting yourself in the shoes of Doomslayer and just shooting all the demons is just so much awesomeness and fun. And Doom the Dark Ages, as of now, I feel it pretty much has everything that Doom 16 done well but better, and while also very much doing everything that Doom Eternal on the other hand did better, it does them even better. So yes, again, might be recency bias, but for now I'm very much saying Doom the Dark Ages is the best Doom game. We'll see how time goes, but I would be surprised if I stood up by that opinion. And also, one more thing, also there are plenty of silly people saying, oh, the toxic masculinity, yada yada, I'm not playing that. Well, nobody tells you to buy this game, but I'm sure as hell glad I bought it. So, Doom the Dark Ages. Let's talk how awesome and epic and masculine this game is! Stepping into an armor of a badass demon slayer just feels so good, and to again embark on an awesome journey and adventure through hellish landscapes to just slaughter demons, tear them apart, shoot them into small pieces, and just be a toxic masculine badass all around. Gameplay wise, you immediately can notice how different Doom the Dark Ages feels from its two predecessors, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, which both admittedly felt also pretty different from each other as well, though certainly closer to Doom 2016, I say. In Doom Eternal, while shooting was still very much a priority, there was also lots of jumping, platforming, and all that, basically adding more complications and challenge to the game. Doom the Dark Ages is back to being mostly on the ground shooting demons, and it's so much fun. Plenty of new mechanics are added though, such as parrying, for example, as well as the shield. Lots of early reviewers were already talking of the shield actually, and before playing I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the shield, but I'm happy to say to me it's a very welcome addition to an awesome game. It had so much fun and also had so much brutality and gore into it, like how you can throw a shield and slice enemies into pieces and then catch it back like a boomerang. Or sometimes how it can actually get stuck in a demon and tear him slowly apart, or how it slices lesser demons all around. I love it. And another thing I was worried about was the parry mechanic. I knew that it was gonna be essential in the game. Parrying is something I'm generally not that good at actually, unless the game is based on parrying like Sekiro, but generally parrying isn't my style, yet here somehow it just worked for me so well. Like, I love when there is a green shoot and I can just press a shield and deflect the shot back at the enemy. Might not work for everyone, but it did work for me very much, and I enjoyed it a lot. Like the game's mechanics and all that turn every battle into symphony of carnage, and I just love it. Love it! And it just doesn't become boring at any point at all. Just can't put this amazing game down, because you're the Doom Slayer. Doom the Dark Ages is not an upgraded Doom Eternal. As I said, it actually has more things in common with Doom 2016, but I actually feel it's better, more fun, more awesome, much bloodier, gorier, scarier, darker, and now possibly my new favorite first-person shooter. In Doom Eternal, even if I used to say it was better from 2016. If I'm really being honest with myself, after I played them both now again, constantly running out of ammo in Doom Eternal and having to change a weapon was kinda frustrating sometimes. But Doom the Dark Ages doesn't have that at all, and just as Doom 2016, it very much is shoot and kill demons with much bigger emphasis on defense, which actually really works for me. As I said, at first I was worried how they will implement defense, but it worked very well, at least for me. Something that plenty of fans were very much worried about is that we all knew that glory kills will be kind of missing in Doom the Dark Ages. And yes, they aren't that prominent as they were in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. And as much as I loved glory kills though, I can't say that I particularly missed them here. They still were, just not so frequently and on more important enemies. And in some ways, that actually made them even more special in Doom the Dark Ages. And the few glory kills that were actually better than ever, such as ripping the heart out of some mini-bosses, for example, or slaughtering this obese guy in half with your shield. Plus, there's so many different awesome ways to just brutally and bloodily tear those demons, or mortally challenge, as Doom Eternal used to say, I guess, apart. Sections in the game where you go into giant mecha armor and just fight titan demons with your fists are so much fun. I was pretty excited when I saw them during early demo reviews, and they didn't disappoint me at all. I really loved them, just walking around in your giant bodysuit of armor and fighting those titans, punching them and then tearing them apart into pieces filled with so much awesome blood and gore. This is amazing, combined with amazing views of the whole area and seeing everything so small. The environments and the looks are quite different from the first two Doom games as well. There are lots of similarities, mostly to Doom 2016, we'll get that soon, but there is a lot of new as well. And again, that's something we already knew from the marketing and trailers, and this time the world is techno-medieval world, which means that there are castles, dragons, cathedrals, and medieval environments in general, but still very much futuristic style weapons and technology, and it fits so wonderfully with the world of Doom. And what I'm really happy about is that the reason for that is actually explained, because it's explained that the people you fight for were technically actually medieval people, and then the mayors, those aliens or something, arrived and introduced them to futuristic technology, and as a result, it's now a combined techno-medieval world, as I said, and it's just perfect. And there are really now many sci-fi labs that were so prominent in the previous two games. There still are some, but there are not that many of them now. Now there are mostly scorched wastelands, medieval castles and cathedrals and statues. In other words, all type of stuff you'd very much expect in medieval setting. And of course though, the technology, as I already said, it's very much futuristic because a techno-medieval world. And Demon Slayer also revisits Hell, how he did it back in 2016, although technically visits first time since Doom the Dark Ages is a prequel. And Hell levels are awesome and feel more scary and atmospheric than ever. And still, it's very recognizably the same Hell level from Doom 2016, but it was one of my favorite levels there, so it's a really welcome return. And I also love how different settings are, as I said, from medieval castles and cathedrals, Hell itself, to cosmic Lovecraftian realm, which features so many creepy settings and unlike anything we ever seen in Doom before. Some would say actually that they wanna make it more like Quake, and while this is very much a Doom game, it objectively does use inspiration from Quake. Like the Lovecraftian realm very much feels much more Quake than Doom, and when it comes to old first-person shooters, I was actually always more of a Quake guy than a Doom guy actually. Still, I love the environments and settings in this game. I gotta also talk about demons and enemy demon variety here, because in Doom Eternal, most of the demons were just original demons from Doom 2016, plus a couple of new ones. But Doom the Dark Ages, while it certainly does use some demons from the previous two games, it does feel like a lot of the demons are actually entirely new, with just several of the demons from the previous two games used here as well. But it makes sense considering it's a prequel, and there is actually a story reason for that very much as well. And I think that Doom the Dark Ages has by far the best demon variety in this game. And better yet, I also love how they're more in style of Doom 2016. And again, I don't mean specific types, because as I said, most of the demon types in Doom the Dark Ages are actually entirely new. But what I mean is that in Doom Eternal, I always wondered how clean demons look like, not blood splatter or anything until you started shooting at them. Because in Doom 2016, demons were so dirty and blood splattered even before you were fighting them. Like, it was clear that they were very much engaging in carnage for a long time. And Doom the Dark Ages does that once again. And now they again feel much more like demons from hell would actually look like. The bosses in Doom the Dark Ages are incredible, probably best they have ever been in Doom, and admittedly kind of in similar fashion to Doom Eternal, the first few bosses actually do later come back as mini bosses and leaders of smaller enemies. So I guess that's really a thing of Doom as in general, to like first introduce a boss and then bring him back as a mini boss and leader of smaller enemies, so I didn't really mind that. But late game bosses though are really unique and incredible, but I won't really talk much about them because that's something I want you to experience for yourself. I will only spoil one of them, and that's admittedly a pretty big one for me, because that's the one I was actually most anticipating, so I was for a really nice surprise, because now, big spoiler alert, yes, that Cthulhu demon we seen in the trailer, he very much is the boss, which made me so happy. Though, interestingly enough, he was actually not my favorite boss in the game. My favorite ended up being the final one, actually, who, I won't spoil who it is, but I will say one thing. Because just as in Doom 2016 it was the Spider Brain, while in Doom Eternal it was Icon of Sin, this time they chose to go with someone completely original, and that makes me really happy, but I won't spoil who it is. And I also have to talk about Flying Dragon sections, because it's another thing that's been very heavily advertised in promotional material, and I have to say, I like them. They might admittedly be my least favorite part of the game, but it's not that they're bad or play badly or anything, it's just that I just love everything else so much more. Or maybe because those don't really feel particularly unique to Doom, quite the opposite. They feel like they could really happen in any other game, really. Again, thankfully they don't feel out of place, at least not for me, so I did end up enjoying them. But at the same time, I think if you completely remove the Flying Dragon sections, I just don't feel the overall gameplay and awesomeness of the game would really change that much. I like the flying sections, but overall, in the scope of the awesome game, they're probably my least favorite part. Still pretty good. Let's also talk a little bit about the story of Doom the Dark Ages, which I think isn't particularly groundbreaking, but it doesn't need to be, because Doom games were never about a story anyway. Priority here always was, you're a Doomslayer, you're a badass guy and slaughter hell demons and just have pure fun. Doom 2016 was very much that. Screw the story and exposition, let's just violently kill the demons. While Doom Eternal did put a lot more emphasis on story and exposition and cutscenes, and the Dark Ages is pretty much like Doom Eternal, and we already knew it would be the case. But I personally don't mind it though. Demon slaying is still very much a thing and priority in Doom the Dark Ages, and that's what matters. There are more cutscenes than in Eternal for sure, but I like them. If you don't like them, don't worry, you can skip them and immediately get to slaying and shooting demons. Still, the story is probably the best story in all Doom games, granted. That's certainly not a high bar to clear, but this time you actually see humans that you, as Doomslayer, as Doomslayer fight alongside, plus we learn more details and lore about the Doomslayer. Not that admittedly any of us ever cared so much about it anyway, but no harm done, and by showing us more demons interacting at all and giving us more information about the demons and their leaders that we are slaughtering, it's the first time I actually was ever far more eager to slaughter those demons, aside from just having an awesome time.
That is why you allow me to speak.
One thing I noticed about older video games, mostly PlayStation 2 and Super Nintendo, likely my two favorite consoles actually, that older video games are so replayable. Plenty of some of the good modern video games are good upon playing, but then upon replaying they suddenly feel no longer so much fun. That's not to say that there aren't any modern replayable video games, there very much are some, but during PlayStation 2 era, it seemed replayability was a norm instead of just select few video games. And Doom the Dark Ages very much falls into the same category of replayability, because this is very much the type of game I'll be totally replaying. I had a fantastic time with it, and it's one of those video games that truly makes me think that maybe gaming can still be saved, because I don't actually believe it's dead like a lot of people say, but it kinda is on life support now. But video games like Doom the Dark Ages and Elden Ring, or some indie games from lesser studios, make me somewhat optimistic about future of gaming. Doom the Dark Ages is just pure epic, awesome, brutal gore and fun. Like, sometimes video games are just meant to be plain fun, and Doom the Dark Ages is very much that, and it's right now I think it's very much my favorite Doom game, which would also make it my favorite first-person shooter, because up to this point I was always debating either Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, but because I love Doom the Dark Ages the most of those three, it's now possibly my favorite first-person shooter of all time, and I wouldn't be surprised if this won Game of the Year award. I totally think it very much should be nominated, and if any of the video games this year won't really impress me that much as this one, and I doubt any will at this point, then this totally should be Game of the Year. And also because in 2022 it was Elden Ring, 2023 it was Lies of P, even though it wasn't even nominated, but it was certainly my Game of the Year. And then 2024 I was actually tempted to say Elden Ring Shadow of the Year Tree, but as awesome as it was ultimately a DLC to an already existing game, which was a Game of the Year of 2022, so I'll go with Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for Game of 2024, but as of right now, a game of 2025 is easily Doom the Dark Ages, and it will really be hard to top this, because it's my favorite Doom game and my favorite first-person shooter. It's just so masculine and so brutal and all that. I really, really love it. Sometimes video games are just meant to be pure awesomeness and fun, and Doom the Dark Ages is very much that. And the one more thing I want to say is that a lot of comparisons online I see about which of the recent three Doom games is the best. I actually see that it's comes mostly to personal preference actually, instead of objective quality. And when it comes to my personal preference, I very much love Doom the Dark Ages the most of those three. It's really a matter of personal preference. All three are magnificent first-person shooters, but personally, Doom the Dark Ages is my favorite one, and my favorite game of the year for now, and certainly one of my favorite games of this decade already. Granted, this might not be the best achievement because gaming is nowhere near as good as it used to be, but as Doom the Dark Ages showed, there still are video games that are just meant to be pure fun. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out this video. Press the like button. Please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you folks in another video. Talk to you then. Bye.